My name is Cadi Iolen and I'm the curator at the National Slate Museum in Llanberis. I was asked to choose one of my favourite objects from the collection. This was a very difficult task as there are thousands of objects at the Slate Museum, ranging from small items such as paper payslips and archive photographs to larger items that move like the water wheel and Una the steam engine. My favourite object is very large indeed and is full of smaller objects. This is number 3 Fron, one out of a row of quarrymen's houses that were moved stone by stone from Tanygrisiau near Festiniog to Llanberis. This year is an important milestone in the history of Fron. We celebrate the fact that the row of houses was moved to its new location at the museum precisely 21 years ago. Originally, Fron was located next to a road and beneath the shelter of a huge rock at Tanygrisiau. It is thought that the houses at Fron were built towards the end of the 1850s, as the first reference to them appears in the 1861 census return. Nearly 150 years later, due to their poor condition, Gwynedd County Council condemned them as uninhabitable, and a decision was made to demolish them. The museum took the opportunity to save the houses as they were so representative of the terraced houses that belong to the quarrying communities of North Wales. Each stone, window and door was numbered and moved like a giant's jigsaw from Tanygrisiau to Llanberis, and the row of houses were rebuilt in their present location. It was decided to furnish Fron to represent 3 distinct periods and areas that were important in the development and history of the slate industry. These are 1861 at Tanygrisiau during the golden age of the slate industry, 1901 at Bethesda during the Great Penrhyn Quarry Strike, and finally 1969 at Llanberis, the year that the Norwich Quarry closed. My favourite object, number 3 Fron, has been furnished to represent life at Tanygrisiau at around 1861. This was when the slate industry was flourishing and when a large influx of people expanded the developing quarrying communities. We first see reference to this house in the 1861 census, and it shows a married couple named William and Ellen Williams lived there, together with William's brother and a lodger named Owen Hughes from Carnarvonshire. William was a quarryman from Trawsfynydd, while his wife Ellen was originally from Llanbedr near Harlech. William's brother and the lodger were also quarrymen. This is a perfect example of workers moving from an agricultural parish to work in a dirty, dangerous and demanding industry. However, the attraction of the industry was much better prospect of work and pay than was available in the agricultural communities. As you step over the doorstep of number 3 Fron, it is like stepping back in time. The house is dark and smoky, heated by a coal fire, and there is an unmistakable smell of a time long gone. The fire was the heart of the home, being lit even during the hottest days of summer, and which was the only means of cooking, brewing tea, and the supply of hot water for cleaning and washing. If one stands in the downstairs room of the house by the fire, one can hear the rhythmic tick-tock of the grandfather clock, a sound that gave comfort to the inhabitants over the decades. This clock dates from the 1840s and is original to the Tanygrisiau area as it was made by the clockmaker David Hughes from Festiniog. From time to time, this clock goes on holiday to our sister site at St Fagan to be serviced by one of the museum's conservationists. First impressions of number 3 Fron may lead one to think that this is a poor household. However, on closer inspection, this may not be true. There is enough food on the table to suggest that the family is relatively comfortable. On the mantelpiece there are ornaments such as the Staffordshire pottery figurine, and this suggests that the family is secure financially and can spend money on making their house attractive. Also on the mantelpiece there is a small bureau that has been carved out of a piece of slate. The quarrymen were very proud of their unique skills, and in their limited free time they would produce really fine items for their homes and entered them in competitions both on a local and national level. The largest piece of furniture is the Welsh dresser that displays the best crockery. A dresser like this would be passed on from one generation to the next, and it is easy to imagine this piece of furniture being loaded onto a horse and cart and transported from a rural smallholding to a quarrying village. The dresser from number 3 Fron was in the National Museum's collection at St Fagan and had come from Llanbedr, coincidentally the area that Ellen Williams was originally from before moving to Tanygrisiau. Number 3 Fron is very small, with one room downstairs and one upstairs. If you recall, the 1861 census showed 4 people living there, and one has to ask, where did they all sleep? In the only bedroom we see a bed, then a blanket suspended from the ceiling, making a rough and ready partition, where on the other side there is a mattress on the floor. This was not uncommon at the time, especially in the newly developing slate quarrying villages. One of the woolen blankets that is displayed on the bed has a direct connection with Tanygrisiau, having been produced at Melin Moelwyn, a woolen mill at Tanygrisiau. Obviously, with one room downstairs and one room upstairs, there is no bathroom or washing facilities, and there isn't even an outside toilet. It seems that the lack of washing facilities, poor quality water, no sewage system, and the overcrowding, as in Fron led to health problems in the Ffestiniog area. In the 1860s, many locals were struck with clwyd stiniog, roughly translated Ffestiniog disease. This was probably typhoid, and the situation was so bad that the authorities in London sent a medical expert, Dr. Buchanan, to the Ffestiniog area in 1864 to report on the outbreak. The Ffestiniog Local Board was established in 1879 with the aim of dealing with the continuing problem. As the curator for the National Slate Museum at Llanberis, choosing my favourite object from the many thousands of objects that I am responsible for was daunting. I suspect that many would have thought I may have chosen an object that would fit neatly into a display cabinet. But we have to remember that the Fron row of houses are exactly the same as a piece of crockery or painting. They are a treasured object. As certainly, number 3 Fron is one of my favourite objects in the collection.